Alrighty, beginning of the year. Last month of the beginning of the year. How do we feel? How do we feel? Things are good. Things are good. All right, we'll just hop into it. The question on everyone's mind: how am I going to turn $26,000 into a multi-million dollar fitness empire? I do have a very straightforward and practical strategy, which involves working with and collaborating with a multitude of different individuals across not only just sports and fitness, health and wellness, but entrepreneurs, artists, talented individuals who have greater ambition than most. That's who I'm really looking forward to working with and actually investing in and helping these individuals grow and rise to their full potential while I simultaneously do the same for myself. That's the overall image. And if I wanted to get more specific as to how I actually want to use my $26,000 winnings from Hollywood Squares, it's in relation to freedom. Freedom to be creative. And in what ways can I be creative? This is the most money I've ever had in my bank account at one time in my life. Yes, I am supposed to set aside some for taxes, and I probably will. I know that I should. There was a possibility that I didn't even get the money, so in order to hoard it would be pretty silly. But regardless of all that, how do I describe what it is that I'm feeling? I feel I feel this desire to never see my bank account go below what it currently is. That's that's a desire that I definitely feel. I want to see growth this year. All right, let's get into the growth. What are we doing for growth in year 2025? What are some actionable steps? Well, this is why this is important. This is why I'm having this conversation with this camera and to an audience. Because as I was explaining to a friend earlier today at the gym, I don't think I've ever seen a billionaire document his journey to becoming one. I don't know of a person who has done that. And I see this as an opportunity to show what's required in real time. We're not at the finish line yet. And to actually take the time and speak out the thoughts and the strategies and the plans that I'm using in order to reach that desired goal of $1 billion, not 2 billion. I think 2 billion would be a bit excessive for my purposes. Only thing that we want is the Tony Stark line: genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. You only need 1 billion in order to be a billionaire. From there, I get to donate and contribute my wealth of resources to other people, like I said, who also want to achieve great things in life. So, yeah, one of the many roles that I'll be wearing in the future is that of a financial backer. Being able to invest in other individuals will be a great gift to me. This is something I've always wanted. Ever since it goes back to age 22. It was July 4th that year. And I had this idea. I was telling my friends about it, and they weren't too enthused, but it never went away from me. This idea that what if we lived in a world where every single person on the planet had no choice but to chase after the best version of themselves or to realize their full potential in life? You just had no choice. You're born into this world, and society, your very brain chemistry, there's everything is driving you to experience your full potential while you're alive. And any obstacle is just that, an obstacle that the brain processes and understands that it has to overcome in order to get to the final destination of a realized version of yourself. So it would no longer call into question of, it's that saying of Michael Jordan is the best basketball player that we know of, but somewhere out in fucking Nigeria, there's a person with so much talent and skill, but they just remain undiscovered. In this reality that I've imagined, people don't have a choice but to be discovered, to discover themselves, and to chase after that vision, that awareness of what they are actually capable of achieving, what they have the ability to do while they're here. Drugs can't get in the way. Unexpected pregnancies cannot get in the way. Nothing gets in the way of actualizing your full potential. And that's the name. That's the name of the game. That's the company I'm going to be focused on building. Investing in individuals who are signing up to chase after their dreams. And let them be the wildest dreams imaginable. And let these individuals still believe that these wild dreams can be accomplished. And let me tell their stories in really cool, interconnected ways. We could have a architect, Ayn Rand, Howard Roark style, an architect who has these visions of future buildings that he wants to build. Let's tell his story, and let's interconnect it with mine, the greatest natural bodybuilder in the world, and the greatest storyteller of all time. Let's get a bowler who really thinks that the sport of bowling is being undervalued. No one's paying attention. Let's work on his image. Let's give him some style, some pizzazz. Let's get his name out there and promote his brand as the greatest bowler there ever was. Let's tell that story. Let's bring a spotlight to that sport. A deserved one, because of the talents and efforts of one star athlete. Let's pick another sport. Let's go over to badminton. There's this one badminton. Erica Jones. Man, does she have a spirit and such passion for this sport. The passion is so bright and alluring that when she's there on the court, it is virtually impossible to take your eyes off of her. And then during the press, when she's talking to the media, man, has she got away with words. It just makes you want to watch the sport. Let's find out who her rivals are. What do they have in common? What do they have different? Are they as captivating as Erica Jones? Let's go over to entrepreneurship. There's an entrepreneur out in Atlanta, Georgia, who has a vision for, drum roll please, I got nothing for the entrepreneur. They can bring me something. But I think that's kind of the whole point. What are we doing in 2025, though? The goal stays the same. We just experienced a windfall of $26,000. We're going to reinvest in the mission. That mission is to promote the sport of natural bodybuilding and to work with others while doing so. My star rises, and so does everyone else's. That's how it was always meant to work. This is not a singular journey. This is the journey of a generation of athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, and like-minded individuals who believe that they can do more than what was expected of them. The concept of exceeding the limits that were placed on us by society. That's the story that I want to tell. And I am just one individual, a part of this massive story that is intended to span the entire planet. By the time this is done, I will be highlighting the stories of potentially thousands of individuals, all seeking the opportunity to realize their potential. And that's how I'm going to invest my $26,000 and create a multi-million-dollar fitness empire that extends into a billion-dollar media company, highlighting these individuals. I've always been a big picture guy. That much hasn't changed. So, are there some actionable steps that we could actually talk about? Because that's the whole point of this documentary. Income, outcome, future. We could talk about the future all day, clearly. So let's talk about what's in front. What's in front? $26,000. $5,000 of it is going to a car. Another grand or two is going to new video equipment. Then we got some taxes. And I think we should coast after that for a second. Let's take a second back, take a step, and consider our options. The goal is to make money this year. We want to keep making money. We want to turn 26,000 into $1 million. How quickly can we do that? What are our sources of revenue? We've got online coaching. I do have someone on my team who is helping me better strategize on how to promote my training program. We want to basically restructure the content, which is something I already was aware of, but I definitely gotta dive deeper into that. We want to create awareness that this is a service that I'm offering. The fact that I'm also offering in-person services, that needs to be known in order to generate a sizable source of income from those services. Then there's public speaking engagements. My vision is to attend corporate seminars and step into those spaces just to remind those individuals, because I used to have that job. I used to work in a corporate company, working in the 9 to 5, working for the man. And I remember how my coworkers were, how drained, exhausted, and unconscious their decisions were in relation to their health and wellness. There was a significant lack of priority, which is something that I would like to make an effort to change, even if it's for a short while. If I can just stir the pot, create some conversation within the workforce again about why and how they should prioritize their health and wellness, I feel that that would be a job well done. So those are the two main ideas of generating revenue that I have in mind for myself in 2025. Then there's also the launching of my brand, which will also be my business and company. I'm aiming to do that within the next month or so. Once that's fully launched and we have the LLC, I will be looking into merchandise and apparel with that brand and logo associated with. So that will be another stream. So 3 streams, 2 of them are ones that I will be focusing on primarily. The third one, which is the merch and apparel, that's going to take more prominence in the following years. I feel like this year, 2025, is going to be something of a soft launch. We just want to make the copyrights, get the LLCs, and do all that to make sure that no one can touch it. It's mine. And from there, bring other people into the fold as part of the umbrella company. And that's when we get to start focusing on star athletes like myself, like Valley Muscle. We get to start focusing on talented artists or musicians, or like I said previously, entrepreneurs, and get them into the fold of this machine. It's a content machine, all telling different stories with the same theme of striving to experience the best versions of yourself. And it's like a shared universe. I think of MCU. They really killed it with what they did. So you got Nick Fury walking into Iron Man's movie at the very end in the post-credit scene, and he's recruiting him for the Avengers. Shaun Fury is really supposed to serve as that role. So in future television series, movies, literature, graphic novels, video games, animes, mangas, documentaries, Shaun Fury is a part of this universe. And he gets to pop into other people's stories and contribute, and then bounce off and go back to being whatever he is at that specific moment, whether it be the greatest natural bodybuilder of all time, or a movie star who's also moonlighting as a superhero philanthropist, or world leader, depending on where we are in the journey. Right now, I'm just ascending the ranks of greatest natty of all time, which is fine. I'm having a lot of fun there. And that's going to span another 5 to 10 years before we can segue into the next one. Oh, and acting. Acting is another source of income that I don't want to neglect this year. I say that, and then at the same time I think, man, fucking acting. I like acting like myself, or this version of myself that entertains me. I'm having so much fun with this role and this project that I do struggle with the idea of inhabiting a different character. Reading someone else's lines, being a different person. Who's more interesting than Shaun Fury? Yeah. It's hard to think. Who's more interesting than myself? And why the hell would I want to play them? It's a legitimate question. And the only reason I'm even entertaining the idea of going back into acting is because it's a talent that I have, and it is an opportunity to gain exposure and make money, which are the 2 primary priorities this year and onward. We need more exposure, and we actually do need to turn 26,000 into 1 million. That's what we're documenting. That and the rise of natural bodybuilding. Future collaborations. Greg Doucette is on my list. I actually have a really, really cool idea as to how I would like to work with Greg Doucette in the future. This future that I have in mind is a couple years down the line. There is some things that have to happen on my end in order to have it come to fruition. But in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with pitching this idea to him in the format of a podcast. So I will be reaching out to him very shortly to invite him to sit down and chat and talk about the future of the sport, bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding, and exactly how we together, if we were to join forces, could actually help to shape this industry and sport in a very positive and impactful way. I don't know if that would be appealing to Greg, because he seems to be pretty content with the type of content that he's making. To me, it's a bit gossipy and salacious and all that good shit, but it gets the views. So the idea that I'm having is, if he could get if he could get that same amount of views with something more pure, more positive, more inspirational, then I would like to consider Greg maybe doing that. And that's what I want to pitch to him. So he's top of my list for individuals that I want to collaborate with this year. I definitely want to work with Josh Ma Noe more. He's one of my favorite natural bodybuilders, and he's a great guy, so I definitely want to get him in the mix more. I'm... Yeah, I don't want to put a cap on collaborations in any way. Everyone can work. A person can bring me an idea as to how they would like to work with me, or they could just approach me and go like, hey, Shaun, I'd like to work with you. I'd be able to sit down with them, get an understanding as to what their goals and aspirations are, and then come up with a storyline as to how we would help each other. That's the thing that I'm getting good at. So, anyone and everyone, if you're ambitious, yeah, you can reach out to me and we can figure something out. I'm really just looking to tell interconnected stories of greatness within the shared universe. Last thing I'm going to say, and where this all comes from, you got Clark Kent, Kal-El, otherwise known as Superman. My issue with Superman, and even Goku in Dragon Ball Z, you got two aliens crash landing on Earth and getting raised by gentle parents, getting taught good morals and integrity, and then growing up to be the saviors of their planet Earth. But they're aliens, and they have abilities and powers that humans just don't have. And so when they save the world, they're doing it because they have these great gifts. The gifts that the humans of this planet were not born with. From my perspective, it's very important to me to tell a story where humans are the ones that actually save planet Earth with the powers that we were all born with, instead of it being some random alien or some chosen one like Luke Skywalker or Harry Potter. No. The humans that choose to save this world weren't born special. They weren't born with unique abilities or some prophesized ideas to like them being the ones who are supposed to save the day. These humans are the ones who chose to save the world. We made the decision that this is how we're going to spend our lives. Being great, striving for excellence, exceeding our limits, and making the world a better place. Thousands, tens of thousands, millions, maybe. But this will change the world. I will see to that. Just got to get through year one, though. 26 into 1 million. I'm going to get better at describing the day-to-day. I promise you I'm going to get better at that. Obviously, you can see that I get in the hills with the lofty aspirations, and I'm going to work on that. I am. We got to focus on what we can execute on a day-to-day basis. There's 365 days in the year, and we've already finished month 1. We made progress. We got the $26,000 check. How are we spending it? How are we investing it? And how are we making more? Online coaching, public speaking engagements, apparel, collaborations, more exposure. These are the things that we will be focusing on in 2025. More to come.